Tony D and Little Joan in the background, and this is a screenwriter's rant on Frankenstein Legacy from 101 Films. It's a low budget Frankenstein sequel, but it doesn't look bad. Smash like and subscribe. Thank you for smash liking and subscribing. Check out my books, links in the description. Comedy horror in South Jersey. It's the Pineys, books 1 through 13, available at Amazon.com. Don't forget, Kindle Unlimited is free. If you wanted to do a Frankenstein movie and you had a very small budget, this is probably what you would get. But they're doing a lot with a little. They're focusing on the right things, right? You don't have a ton of money for special effects or makeup. So what do they focus on? They focus on the relationship between the female doctor in this case. Now, it's not Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein's legacy. So the story is Frankenstein's diary is bought by this woman who's a doctor, and she wants to keep her husband alive or bring him back to life because he's dying. Here they are. So she gets the diary. I think she, at some point, has to kill him in order for it to work. But the idea is she's going to do unspeakable things in order to keep him alive because she's just so in love with him. The other main character is the son, who's very much against this. And I think the husband might be against it too, but I'm not quite sure. And so here she is saying, I'm going to save you. I can save you. Then he's sort of the main sort of handsome guy that's in the movie. And I don't think this is his girlfriend. I think, are they actually going to go that far in a English production and just be like, oh yeah, there were interracial couples back then. There weren't. Not really. I mean, there might have been a few, not in high society, but whatever. I don't think they're going down that path with this. I think she's just one of the characters. But turns him into the monster, and of course, he goes crazy, cuckoo bananas, and they have to destroy him. I think he goes on a murderous rampage, and then they hunt him down and have to kill him at the end. All right, so story by Paul Dudbridge and Jim Griffin. Screenplay by Jim Griffin. Directed by Paul Dudbridge. I don't recognize any of the cast, but they seem okay. The son and the mother, they seem the two strongest actors in the mix. Maybe the dad too. So, yeah. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Frankenstein Universal monster movies. I like those. This is definitely in that vein. It's everything here is at about 75%, right? It's mostly there. Like the lighting here, for instance, to me, it's a little too bright. They're really not doing much with it other than lighting. I would have liked to have seen, more filters on a movie like this because it takes place in the past. It's supposed to be like a horror movie. Kinda, not really. And it should be dreary. It should be a little washed out, I think, in most of the scenes. Like, this is okay. But this has a filter. But they had to do this because they shot it at night. So they got, off camera, they probably got lights everywhere. And then they turned down the stops to make it like, well, it's nighttime. Or they shot it in the day and they just put on all the filters. Sometimes they do that. They just made it look like nighttime. Some of the inside stuff looks good, like this, with the candlelight and everything. In fact, most of it looks kind of dreary, but there's just a couple of scenes I'm just like, what are you doing here? But again, it's about 75% there. Probably could have used a little more makeup on him, but that's an aesthetic choice too. The monster not being like green with bolts in his neck. It's just a dude with a bunch of scars and a hood. It's closer to the actual book, I think. But it's not based on the book, really. It's sort of like adding to the story. Scenes like this is easy to do, these kind of effects. So overall, I think it looks okay. Because they're focusing on the right thing. They're focusing on the story and the relationship between the mother who's doing these horrible experiments and the son who's against them, and the father who I think he's ambivalent about it. He's not too sure he wants to be turned into a monster. So first act, she's obsessed with cheating death to save her husband, gets a hold of the Frankenstein diary, has all the information. Everybody's warning her not to use it or do it, and she's under the gun, but she's going to do it anyway. She either kills her husband or he dies, and she brings him back to life using dead bodies. Very Frankenstein-y. And she does, but he's almost immediately out of control, runs amok in the second act, and now they got a problem. She tries to corral him back. The son's like, you shouldn't have done this, Ma. What have you done? And I think maybe he goes after, old rivals or something. Maybe kills them. Eventually, they have to hunt him down and kill him. Probably, I'm guessing the mother dies in the process, because that would be an appropriate ending, right? They just both die, and then that's it. And the message is don't play God. And then the son, does he fall in love with this woman? Maybe. I think they're going down that path. So I guess it's a little woke, but beyond that, it's mostly they're trying to stick to a classic sort of sequel. No write-up. Would I watch it? I'm a big fan of Frankenstein, so I would at least check it out. If I saw it on streaming, I had access to it, I'd check it out, and I might get through it. Yeah, because I like this sort of subgenre of horror. But if you don't have a lot of money, this is the kind of stuff you focus on. You focus on the relationships, the acting. The actors are okay. I think they're mostly good. If they, the trailer I think is a little rough. It could have been tightened up. I would have recut the trailer. Also, I don't like the music. The music's a little generic. I would have went with a more horror soundtrack, something a little more building towards the end, and then something a little more classic and violin-y to finish it out. So, yeah, it's mostly there. I think it could be good. I think you got about 60-70% chance you'll watch the movie and go, that's all right. Anyhow, that's it for me, Tony D and Little Joan. Check us out on Odysee, Bitchute, and Rumble for our more bass takes. If you can find a more bass take, I say, take it. I will be at North Cape May at Complete Care on the 6th of February. I know, it's a week away. And then not this weekend, but the weekend after, I'll be at I Heart Horror. That's a horror convention in Sayreville, New Jersey. Hope to see you there. We'll see you in the next one.